Hello and welcome to the Rapid Solicitors Elite Ice Hockey League highlight show here on Sky Sports. It's week 5 of the Elite League season, another tough weekend with many close games. Here's what we've got coming up for you this week. The Nottingham Panthers travel to Ireland. It's a big battle with the Giants. The Dundee Stars, well, they have a 4-point weekend, and we'll have all the action from around the league, including 27 goals from Sunday. 27 goals from Sunday. We're spoiling you. We are really. In a week that has seen 3 new NHL players join the Rapid Solicitors Elite Ice Hockey League, we thought it was only fair to bring our own former NHLer in as our guest this week. We used former very loosely. Is Ron Shudra, the former Sheffield Steeler, and as we're talking about NHL teams, we can say, and Edmonton Oiler. It was a long time ago since you came into the league, though. A lot's changed, and you came in under very different circumstances, didn't you, to the 3 guys that we're going to be talking a lot about this week. That's true, yeah. I mean, it's always great to be back here on Sky and chatting about things and going over the last season, beginning of this one. But yeah, it has changed over the years. You know, circumstances obviously change year to year, and you get different players coming in and out. But obviously, with a lockout now, you got guys. I think are getting a little bit itchy on the other side of the water, trying to get back in on it and try and stay in just in case it ends. Now, if you have been anywhere, of course, we had Stuart in Nottingham, who's been here for a couple of weeks. But this weekend, we got Drew Miller, scored 15 goals in Detroit. Bileski, who joins the Coventry Blaze, and Satito, who you may have seen on NHL 24/7 if you watch your NHL stuff. He was involved with the Philadelphia Flyers. He's joined the Sheffield Steelers. These guys, they're not your Gretzkys, they're not your Crosbys, they're not your $15 million guys, but these are serious hockey players, aren't they, who have something special to make that league, and that they want to come over here, stay fit and get in shape and keep in shape until the league goes back. Shows mentally that they're ready to play. It does. I mean, you look at the type of player that tends to come into our elite league here, and they're the tougher grinder, hard-working sort of players where, you know, if they're not doing a certain role with their NHL team, they're not going to get a chance to play. Well, you know, you come over here, now you're getting a chance to play. Well, hey, now you get to maybe possibly learn your trade all over again. You get to learn how to handle the puck a lot more. You're in different situations. You get to play a lot more. You use your skill levels as opposed to just your up and down, straight up and down winger sort of thing. It's one of those things you want to be able to do, but you can take back playing at a high enough level where a skill level opportunity comes to you, and you can show you can play the game. We're all excited when NHLers come over here. Should we be extra excited when a guy who plays for Detroit, one of the big clubs, and a guy who gets 15 goals in Detroit, this Drew Miller, who the Brayhead Clan have signed, he seems to be the pick of the bunch, doesn't he? Well, at the minute he does. I mean, you look at what he's done in the past over the last few years playing with Detroit, and you know, he's done something special to stay with them. He works hard, like I say, works hard. He gets himself in good situations, gets himself to the net, gets the puck on the end of his stick, and he knows where to put it. And I think you'll see here when the guys get up to speed with what the league is really like here. You know, you have to give them a couple of weeks here and there leeway, just like every other player that comes over, to get used to the style of play, the standard of play. The players that he's playing with, obviously, they might be a different caliber than what they're used to. So it does all come into into what they need to build on to make themselves a better player, and these guys will. They'll step up week to week, game to game, and you'll just see them getting better and better. And we'll be seeing them getting better and better week in, week out on this highlight show. Well, if you were watching last week, well, not all of you were watching last week, because there was 5,000 of you as we went on air that were in the NIC in Nottingham. Game 1 of the weekend saw the Nottingham Panthers taking on the Coventry Blaze. As ever, Chris Ellis will talk you through it.
The National Ice Centre has not been a happy place for Coventry to visit in recent times. Although it was better last season, Nottingham have still won 7 of the last 9 meetings on their own ice against Paul Thompson's men. First period action and a patient build-up from Nottingham started with Norton behind the net, and then Stevie Lee, and then by Francis and NHLer Anthony Stewart. Nottingham went down the ice, and when the puck bounced out from behind the net, Lakovic puts away his rebound. That's the 4th of the year for him. 12:56 gone and Nottingham are ahead. They outshot the Blaze 10-9 in the first period. It was tight, but then comes second period. Nottingham outshot Coventry 14-7, and the tide began to turn their way, as you'll see. Here they're on the power play, and once more they're patient, and that's a good pass across. Fox and Clark with the assist, and Bruce Graham. He's had a tough start to life as a Panther, but he scores his second of the year there, and Nottingham are 2 ahead in front of a crowd of a little shy of 5,000 people. Ling behind the net. He's Nottingham Panthers' leading point scorer this season. He's 16th, though, in the charts. Normally you see Nottingham with players in the top 3 or 4 early doors, but he's the highest in 16th position. Francis in 19th. Well, that goal there was for Benedict, the former Belfast Giants player. A first of the year for him. Came late, of course, due to some visa problems, but Nottingham, just past the midway point, were 3-0 ahead, and things were totally going their way. I mentioned Nottingham and their point scoring. Coventry, well, they have 4 in the top 20. Guthrie in 4th, Shute in 5, Greg Leib in 11th, and Brad Leib in 15th. So they're scoring goals this year. That's one thing they've been doing well. Still in the second period action, and a special moment for NHLer Anthony Stewart. His first goal for the Nottingham Panthers. He gets the final touch to that bouncing puck, and Nottingham lead with 2 minutes to go in the second session by 4-0, and they're certainly well on their way to victory in this one. Coventry improved in the third period. They were outshot by Nottingham 11-9, so that was 35-25 shots on goal in Nottingham's favour throughout the game. But the Blaze did begin to get pressure on the net and some good real chances. A couple there, Kowalski with a couple to turn the puck away, and then Eric Werner clearing the puck when it looked like it was going to bounce and just go over Kowalski and into the back of the net. Here on the power play, the Coventry Blaze are patient. They're just waiting their time, and the players involved in setting this one up were Greg Leib and Shay Guthrie, and then the final shot there from Brad Leib, that's rifling into the back of the net. Kowalski could do nothing about that one. 46-27 gone, and Coventry get it back to 4-1. Nottingham changed their netminder. There was 7 minutes and 8 seconds of ice time for Dan Green. He had 5 shots on goal and he saved 4 of them, and he could do nothing about this one. The defence left him a little exposed, and Bayrak scores his first for the club. Final score, though, in the NIC, Nottingham 4, Coventry 2.
Another good victory then for the Nottingham Panthers against the Coventry Blaze, as Chris explained there, who had a lot of success in a very poor season last year. They end up with a winning record. Your former team, Coventry, came up against a very explosive Nottingham side there, though, didn't they?
They do. I mean, you look down the lineup, and as we were chatting before, you know, they seem to have 3 lines that there is no 1-2-3. It's all 1-1-1 sort of thing. They just attack and keep coming at you.
It's year in, year out with them, isn't it? They do that. It's just offence, offence, offence.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing. It's an exciting way to play, but you know, you've got to be quick both ways. I mean, obviously, if you're going that hard in the offensive zone, well, you might leave yourself, you know, a little bit loose at the end and in the back end and that, and you've really got to make sure that you get back as well. And I think Nottingham, they found a pretty good balance between the two so far. I mean, they did last year. They attacked in waves and waves. They just kept coming at you. And if there was a little bit of a lull, it wasn't for very long, because they were right back in your face again. And it's a very effective way to play.
Well, that was a Friday night game for Corey Nelson's Panthers team. They got on the plane on Saturday morning and headed to the Odyssey Arena. This was a real big one. It was the Belfast Giants. Chris Ellis.
2 of the early pace setters met at the Odyssey Arena. They'd already met twice this season. In Nottingham, both of them. A win for Belfast and a penalty shot win for the Panthers. Giveaway there from Beckett, a swivel from Champagne, and at the back door, Noah Clark for his second of the year. And Belfast ahead in the Odyssey. Watch how the swivel, when it takes Werner out the play, really. He wasn't expecting that. And Clark at the back door for 1-0 Belfast. Nottingham came back within 4 minutes. Ling and Graham working down the right-hand side, and Ling bounced onto the rebound, and we have a delayed penalty goal there. Adam Keefe was about to go to the box on a slashing minor, but it didn't matter. Nottingham scored. Colbert couldn't clear the lines, and we were level at 1-1. Sandrock coming forward, great skate, beating 2 Nottingham defencemen, and that was finished off there by Stewart, a third of the year for him. A lovely goal. Sandrock very, very impressive offensively once more for the Belfast Giants. But under a minute later. Nottingham working hard behind the net. Strong movement with puck rotation, and it just drips out in front, a couple of deflections, and it comes to Graham to score a third of the year. Gadavan and Ling getting the assists, and Nottingham were level at 2-2. No goals in overtime, so to penalty shots, and Francis puts it wide, so advantage to the home side. Craig Peacock has a chance to give the home side the lead. No, he can't do so. Close the door, does Craig Kowalski. So David Ling scored a wonderful penalty shot goal earlier in the season. No, that one is not on target. So we now have Robbie Sandrock, and I mentioned his offensive capabilities. He shows them once more. 1-0 Belfast, and Nottingham have to score through Pat Gadavan. Goes wide, left-hand side. He can't do so. Murphy makes the save, and the Odyssey celebrate. Final score, Nottingham 2, Belfast 3.
How patient is Robbie Sandrock on that penalty shot? Age and experience, it comes to us all, and Sandrock finished nicely there, didn't he?
It was a great little move. He saw him, throw the brakes on there, just like the old footballers do when they do their penalty shot or penalty kick, and it throws the timing off for the goalies and the netminders, and it just opened it up for him to slot it home. If
we talk about the Nottingham Panthers being all about the offence and the flash-arriness of it all, and they are so exciting to watch. Probably the most exciting team in the Elite League to watch. The Belfast Giants, I mentioned this to Rick Strachan last week, regimented, very disciplined. They grind it out and they find a way, don't they? Yeah, they do. I mean, it's the way they've been playing the last few years. They go one direction, they go hard one direction. They don't tend to get a lot of breakdowns, which is what you have a breakdown and it creates a chance, either offensive or defensive, to score a goal. So the more chances that you can create by playing the same way, just like we said with Nottingham, we got three going at three ways all the time, but then you have a chance on the back end and you miss one sort of easy play there like we saw on a one-on-one and it's in the back of your net. You can't have that. Whereas Belfast, you don't seem to see those mistakes one-on-one too many times happening. If you don't create anything against Belfast with your speed and with a forecheck and things and get them running around a little bit, you're not going to get a chance to score. And then you try and overplay it against Belfast. And you're trying to push too much.
You push too hard, and all of a sudden they're nice and disciplined. They got their guys where they need to be, and all of a sudden one pass, bang, they're down the ice, and it's in the back of your net. And they've done it for years that way, and they'll keep the game close, and all of a sudden they'll score 3 goals in 3 shifts. Great way to play. Plenty more action coming up, including the Sheffield Steelers trip down to the Big Blue Tent in Cardiff, and you know what that means, don't you? Old Devon's back in town. Welcome back to the Rapid Solicitors Elite Ice Hockey League highlight show here on Sky Sports. Some Gardner Cup action for you now as we head up north, if you like. We see the Hull Stingrays, they'll be taking on the Dundee Stars, and the Edinburgh Capitals, they were taking on Jay Galbraith and his Brayhead clan. Chris Ellis.
First period action from this one. In fact, we're inside the first 4 minutes when the game gets feisty. Mike Worrell there and Jeff Smith going in front of the net. Smith not happy with that. Worrell was assessed a high sticking minor for that, 2 minutes. And Smith, 2+2 for roughing. And certainly Smith unhappy. Telling the referee there, James Ashton, he wasn't happy about that. And he'll sit for the extra 2 in the first period. So a bit later on in that opening period, it's the Hull Stingrays who are looking to try and defend their own net, and there's a dump on the net, but then the Stingrays break from one end of the ice to the other. It is a great move. Dooley and Davis working hard behind the net, and somehow the final touch there by Otterlins, a 6th of the year, and the Hull Stingrays ahead in their own barn. 13 minutes and 14 seconds gone. But Dundee had a good first period. 16-12, they were outshot the Stars, but they put many good chances on Ben Bound's net, and there's one of them. Bagran with his first of the year. 16:39 gone then, we're level at 1. Into period 2, and the Stars grew in confidence as the game went on. 10-8 they outshot the Stingrays after the first interval, and working hard, Bagran and Ryanen, and the final touch by Wirral. A 5th of the season for him. A good game he's having for the Stars, a good season he's having. Now the Stingrays, that is a great move from Osman. What a neat piece of skill. and the save is there made by EIHL, who made 37 saves in the game, so it stays at 2-1. Into the third period, and now a man who seems to be involved in every point that Dundee have scored this season, and it's kind of backed up by the fact that he's second in the point scoring charts for the whole Elite League. Sammy Rynan, the former Panther, wrapping the game up into an empty net, and the whole Stingrays are beaten on their own ice. Final score, Stingrays 1, Dundee 3. With net-minding problems for the Edinburgh Capitals, it was a special night for Billingham-born James Flavel, who was between the pipes for the Caps. But he was to pick the puck out of the net 4 minutes and 4 seconds into the game. Strong move from one end of the ice, Hansen and Manu involved for the Clan, and Brock McPherson with his first goal of the season, so Braehead were ahead. In the first period, the Clan outshot the Capitals 15-8, and once more, defence turns to attack. You see Manu once more, and then Chamont with the perfect weighted pass for Farmer. So strong on the breakaway, and 6:14 gone. It's 2-0 to the visitors, and they're in control. But Edinburgh had their chances in the first period, and for once they made it count. Pandemonium in front of the net, plenty of chances, and finally it trickles through. Senko with his first of the season, Hartman and Yarlin with the assists. It threatened to boil over there, but that one came to nothing. But what it was a one-goal game going into the second period, a period where Braehead only outshot the Caps 10-8. The final touch there by Goldie, a great strong move in the slot, buries that one. Galbraith and Hampson with the assists on the power play. It's 3-1. And some valuable breathing space for the visitors. So to the third period, and Braehead once more outshooting the home side. 14-8 in this period for 39-24 shots on goal across the game. And again, defence to attack, some easy free-flowing passing, and Chamont breaks away. Lovely finish backhand shelf to wrap the game up. Final score in Edinburgh, it was the Caps 1, Braehead 4.
I think you have to give a lot of credit to young Flavel in goal for the Edinburgh Capitals there. On kid had, what was it, 39 shots. They had 3 breakaways. His defence didn't exactly help the youngster out, did they?
No, they didn't. They didn't sort of play sort of a defensive style, knowing that your starter's obviously out for an extended period of time. You sort of have to change your game plan slightly and try and play a little bit more to defend and protect what you've got in the net. You know, you've got these young guys coming in, not a lot of experience playing at this level, and throwing them in, and then you get 3 breakaways, 3 goals. I mean, you know, you have to step up a little bit and say, hey, let's not get caught in deep, get it deep for the young kid.
Especially against a team like Braehead, who have got such offence as well, haven't they, in Kristanovic, in Galbraith, in Farmer. Yeah,
I mean, they are. They're another one of those teams that are very, very explosive, and they've got guys that can finish when they get a chance. You give anybody a chance on a breakaway, especially 3 like that, you know, pretty much uncontested going in on a young goalie. You know, you got to give the odds to the forward coming in.
Let's take a look at the game between the Hull Stingrays and the Dundee Stars up at the Hull Ice Arena. We've got some highlights to show here. Dundee, to me, this year look a lot more resilient. They're a strong team, aren't they?
They are. They work very, very hard. They don't seem to have a gear to slow down to. They'll play the same way, and they'll play consistent throughout the 60 minutes, and they'll work hard. I mean, you can see here that's just, you know, goals that every player loves to score. They're just right in front of the net. They're easy tap-ins, but they're not easy, because if you don't get into that area, you're not going to score those goals. And it takes a lot of effort and a lot of hard work to get yourself there. A nice little, you know, over pressure on an empty net, which we're trying to do, and you know.
He's done well, Ryan, hasn't he? I mean, like, he played for Nottingham last year. They didn't keep him. They decided to let him go. Good pickup for Dundee. Great pickup. He finishes, as you said before, you know, he seems to score every game. You know, what else do you want from a guy on your team? Consistency. Just a quick word on Jeff Hutchins. He seems to be doing a great job up in Dundee, doesn't he? Jeff Hutchins is a guy who has to work for everything he's got in the game, and that seems the emphasis he's put onto his team. It is. It's rubbing off on his players. Like you say, he's one of those guys that wants a hard-working team. He wants to be on the puck all the time. They don't want to give the puck up easy. They want the other teams to battle and make it hard to play against, and that's exactly what he's done. And it's the same sort of style that he's always played with. On last week's show, well, I rang the bell of Devon Didier meeting. 24 hours later, on Saturday, did he ever ring the bell of the Sheffield Steelers? Steelers versus Cardiff Devils. It was a good night for old Devon.
Cardiff went into this one on the back of 2 wins the previous weekend, but for the Sheffield Steelers, 2 losses, although one was on penalty shots to the Nottingham Panthers. First period action inside the first minute, in fact 42 seconds on the clock, when Devon Didiamiti was asked to sit down by referee Tom Darnell. 2 minutes for charging, and he was to sit in the penalty box. First period action was exciting. 13 shots on goal for Cardiff, 12 for the Sheffield Steelers. It was end-to-end stuff, as you'll see, and it thrilled the near 2,000 crowd in the Cardiff Bay Arena. One end of the ice to the other here. Shot comes in from really just inside the zone. He let go as he came towards the blue line. That was at one end of the ice for Shields, but Cardiff break away and a number of players involved. Mac Faulkner goes left-hand side, and then Tyson Marsh jumps into the play. There's a scramble in front of the net, and the final touch is by Phil Hill. It's his 4th of the season, 11:02 gone, and on the power play, the Cardiff Devils take the lead against the Sheffield Steelers. They have their noses in front. Bit of controversy in the corner there. Josh Batch, the young British defenceman, 2+10 for a check to the head on Tyler Michel. Understandably, a few Sheffield players went over, got involved in push and shove, but it was Batch who was going to sit down in the penalty box for 12 minutes for that check to the head. So still 1-0 at this stage into the second period in terms of goal-scoring action, and that's a final touch from Faulkner, his 12th of the year on the rebound from Blight's shot. They are thrilled. They're leading the Sheffield Steelers by 2-0. The Steelers need to find a way back into the game. We're still in the second period, and Sarich comes forward, and then into the corner goes Colin Shields, but Sarich once more is the creator in the corner, and jumping into the play is Matt Stevenson for a 1-goal game. But Sheffield could not find a way back. It finished Cardiff 2, Steelers 1.
A good win then for the Cardiff Devils. Well done, Devon. Well done. Old teammate of yours. I just realised how old Gerard Adams must be if he's an old teammate of yours. But he gets that Cardiff Devils team playing every week in that building. It's the toughest place in the league to go, isn't it? It
is. I mean, it's not a big building. The crowd's on top. You have, as it is in a few different buildings. He's got a team that's built for his building, which is great. I mean, you know, we're saying you win your home games. Yeah, you get, you win half the games on the road, and you got a really, really good chance of winning any league that you play in. And but you've got to win your home games. If you're making it easy for teams to come in and take points out of your building, then you don't get a chance at anything. And right now, they're playing very, very well at home.
I think the one player we've spoke about every week on this show so far has been Matt Faulkner, who's a new signing for the Devils, came from Italy, good pedigree. And when you just find a guy and it clicks and it fits, you know you can kind of build your team around him. And G looks like he's got a good one there in Faulkner. He's got an eye for goal. Yeah,
I mean, everything seems to come off of him the way he plays. He gets in the position where he gives himself an option and becomes an option to be getting the puck. And when he does have the puck, he knows what to do with it. If he's got good eyes, he's got good hands, makes good plays. It's very, very rare that you see him not making the right play at the right time. So you get guys like that, and you build around him, and then you just sort of add the pieces beside him and around him, and then all of a sudden, a 10-goal scorer is all of a sudden a 20 and a 30 because he's getting the puck in the right position.
Well, those are all your goals from Saturday. We've got plenty to come through on Sunday's action in the Rapid Solicitors Elite Ice Hockey League after this break, so don't you go anywhere. Welcome back to the Rapid Solicitors Elite Ice Hockey League highlight show here on Sky Sports. Before the break, we saw the Cardiff Devils beat out the Sheffield Steelers 2-1 at the Big Blue Tent. Well, on Sunday, Gerard Adams took his side to the Skydome Arena in Coventry. Chris Ellis will talk you through this one.
Coventry against Cardiff has become a real grudge match over the years, and the 2 leading penalty minute takers in the Rapid Solicitors Elite League met at the Skydome. 116 pims in first for Ben Olsen, and with a mere 53 in second for Devon Didiamiti. Giveaway Bayrak, and Didiamiti let the puck do the talking down the right-hand side. Centering feed for Max Bierbreyer, a 4th of the season, and 7 minutes 55 gone in the game. The Devils were ahead in the Skydome. Bayrak attacking at one end in the second period. Strong work from Milam to dig the puck out from behind the net, and then a 1-2 sees McRae feed Bierbreyer, a 2nd of the night, a 5th of the season. 25-34 gone. The Devils were 2 ahead. Still the Devils in the ascendancy then, and they're on the power play. But unfortunate for Tyson Marsh, a poor pass off the skates of his captain Stuart McRae, and Shea Guthrie does not need asking twice. Short-handed at 37:02, and Coventry bring it back to a one-goal game. On the power play now are the visitors in the third period, and it's a rebound for Mac Faulkner, the league's leading goal scorer, a 13th of the season, 3-1, and more breathing space for the Cardiff Devils. The clock was ticking, but there'd been less than 40 seconds since it was a 3-1 game. And then this man is fast turning into one of the finds of the season. Mike Shute, the defenceman, scores his 6th goal of the campaign. It's a one-goal game. Time was running out. We're going down to the last 90 seconds, and Bayrak makes amends for his earlier mistake and levels it up. What a set play. Shute and Guthrie just bish-bash-bosh, and it's in the back of the net. Overtime then. Coming forward, Tyson Marsh. Dug out the corner by Davis. In front of the net is Phil Hill. The rebound is not dealt with, and it's Tyson Marsh who gets the game-winning goal in overtime. Final score, Coventry 3, Cardiff 4.
4-point weekend then for Gerard Adams, and a good victory over the Coventry Blaze. Coventry are short, we keep saying it week in, week out, but Cardiff, they just found a way to win again, as we always say with Gerard.
They do, and you look at the type of building that Coventry have. Very, very similar in style to Cardiff's building. So the team matches up very, very good home and away with them. And I think that's why you see such a good battle over the last few years with them, because the teams both play really, really well in that sort of style building. Up and down the boards, lots of physical contact. You know, no one's more than 2 or 3 feet away from each other. So again, chances happen. And if you're quick on the puck to react, it's going to go in the back of the net.
That Faulkner had another one as well.
Yeah.
It finds him, doesn't it?
It does. We said it before. If you give yourself a chance and you get yourself in a position to put the puck on the net, or get in a position to receive a puck, and he did exactly that. Power play off the boards. Where do you want to be stood? You know, off to the side of the net. Bang! It's an open net. Thank you very much.
I tweeted this morning that I was coming up here to record the Sky Show, and Matt Faulkner tweeted me back, and he said, "Give credit for the Coventry Blaze third line of Young White, of Selby, and of Venus. They've played 8 Elite League games now. They haven't been scored on as a third line. You know, Paul Thompson was always going to lack depth when he came into this season. He knew that. He's actually found it almost by mistake, hasn't he?" He
has. I mean, I've just myself flown back from Canada, and the first thing I got back when I came was, you know, a guy in Sheffield said, "Oh, have you heard these? You know, these 3 guys are playing so well for them in Coventry, young boys. Well, they're getting the chance to play. They've been groomed slowly." And they're being allowed to play now in a situation with the injuries that they had the last few years. You know, Tom was given chances to a few of the British guys to play more and more and more, and give them the opportunity to get the experience and gain the experience, and it's showing for now.
You were a pretty good offensive defenseman in your time. This guy in Coventry, let's have a look at Mike Shute. We saw him last week, and he scores another good goal here, doesn't he? Well,
yeah, I mean, it's a simple play. Just control on the power play, you know, nice and easy, make a thing, turn. You're just getting the puck to the net. You get traffic in front. Does it go off anybody? Is there anybody in front for a deflection? You don't know. But again, you don't shoot the puck. It doesn't go in the net.
You just talk us through this goal. You noticed Olsen.
Yeah, I mean, you look at a big, strong guy here, top penalty taker, you know, in overtime, you're going down the boards. He finishes his check the first time, but then he's slow in front of the net, and then doesn't take the body in front of it and lets the guy just turn around and take a nice little easy backhand. You know, as a big, strong presence, you've got to play the body all the time, and that's that small building in front of the net. Things happen quick.
They do indeed. Right, more action now. Let's go to Sheffield, where the Steelers were taking on the Braehead Clan. It was the Steelers' first out-of-conference game. They've only played Erdhart Conference games up until this point. Big Jade was back in town. Would he have an effect on this game? Chris Ellis will tell you.
So Braehead Clan came to ice Sheffield, and after 3 successive defeats for the Steelers, there were some worried supporters. But the Steelers put on a great display in the first period, and they outshot the visitors 17-5. Dump on net there by Fata, and it turns nicely for Jeff Legui for a 7th of the year, and Steelers ahead at 4 minutes and 17 seconds. But it goes down as a mistake by Garrett Zamlak. You see the dump come off net there. Zamlak tries to clear. It's a dreadful clearance right into the path of Jeff Legui, and it's 1-0 Sheffield, the 7th of the year for him. And the home fans were celebrating. More poor defence by the visitors, and that's great movement. Legui and Fata involved, and Ashley Tate is smiling. A 6th of the year for him at 13-21. Very neat interchange of passing. It's quick passing, it's skillful play, and Tate was right on the doorstep. And those Steelers fans are celebrating. Don't think those guys can see, though. More good movement, this time just on the power play, but strong movement and great rotation of the puck. In fact, the power play just comes to the end as Kristanovic comes onto the ice, and Tate gets his 7th of the season. Saric and Stevenson with the assist, just as the minor penalty had expired. And the home side are 3-0 up in the first period. As I said, they outshot the visitors 17-5, so no wonder they were so in front. Then you see a bit of an injury there on the boards. It was a clash with Robert Farmer. Tyler Michel goes off holding his side. You can see he's in a bit of pain there by that slow motion replay, and he had to go to the bench. So 3-0 at this stage, and the visitors really needed to find a way to get back into the game, into the second period in terms of goal scoring, and Farmer and Kristanovic combine. And there's Galbraith at the right side. There's a space for him. Out of position is De Caro, and we see a 3-1 game, and we do see some evidence that the visitors can get back into the game. But it was 7-7 in shots on goal, so it was a more even period in this second period, and Phillips and Stevenson work well, and Jorgensen jumps into the play. He's delighted, raises his fist in celebration to the Steelers crowd, and we see a 4-1 hockey game at 33 minutes and 49 seconds. Surely that sees Braehead out of the game. But still in the second period, they come forward. Right-hand side, McPherson and Walker battling hard. And the final touch from Ryan Watt for his 2nd goal of the season. His 2nd goal for the Clan. And at 38-34, it becomes a 4-2 game. See that deflection there? It deceives De Caro. Lovely slow-mo of that one. So into the third period then, and Braehead feel that they've got a chance in this one, and they feel that they can find a way back into the game, and they're racing forward with Galbraith. Watch this piece of skill. Left-hand side, beats the defenseman, comes around for the wrap-around, is forced out wide. That one goes in, but the net was off its moorings. It's no goal, says referee Dean Smith. Looks like he just quickly checks with the goal judge, and Braehead aren't happy. But if you look here, it's a marginal decision. That was so close, that one, but given for net off the moorings. So not a 1-goal game at this stage, but that seemed to G up the Braehead Clan, and Burnstill and Farmer combine on the power play. The two of them working well right-hand side, and you see the puck come to Kristanovic, who just worked it in at the corner. We do have a 1-goal game, and that is at the midway point of the third period. So Steelers, who were 4-1 ahead, are pegged back to 4-3. They now need to use some strength. Of course, 3 defeats going into this one. Would this turn out to be another one, or would they find a way to keep their lead intact or even strengthen it? Jonathan Phillips works hard in this one. This is the creator of the goal. And then Saric and Limbright for Shields, who gets a 3rd of the year. 5-3 now. Shields there, great shot. Nothing the netminder could do about it. Zemlak, terrific effort from him, terrific finish. And again, on the slow-mo, you see the water bottle tumbling to the ground. What a great shot that is. So it's 5-3, and the Steelers have responded, and they have that breathing space. More bad defence from the Braehead Clan. This time the man is Kevin Phillips, and well, they don't need asking twice. Shields sets up Limbright with 3 minutes to go. It's 6-3, and the Steelers are heading to victory, and they're heading to victory in their own barn. There was still time for Legui and Tate to work it. Great movement once more, and Goertzen this time jumps into the play with 35 seconds to go to make it 7-3, and that was the end result. Braehead Clan will be disappointed with their road performance. Steelers back to winning ways. Final score, Sheffield 7, Braehead Clan 3.
Looks a convincing win for the Sheffield Steelers, but they needed those 3 late goals in the last 5 minutes for that 7-3 scoreline. Sheffield had that game won twice, didn't they? 3-0, 4-1, but Braid came right back.
Well, it's what we've said, is they keep going and keep going and keep going and keep working hard, and good things happen. And then, you know, all of a sudden, Sheffield maybe get a little bit of nervous, it gets close, you know, and then they've got to really rely on a big breakout in the third period.
4-2 it was when this happened, a controversial moment in the game. I was at the game, and he looked a perfectly good goal to me. Every time Jay touches the puck, I get worried sick. He wins magic here, doesn't
I think
he?
you're not the only one. I think a lot of defensemen do, and you can see that by the time and space that he gives him. He turns and goes, and to me it's the same thing. Now the net seems to come off. You know, you look at it from a few different angles, and as the puck is going to the net, then it tends to come off the mooring. So it's not going short side. It's not going under the net. It's actually going in the middle of the net here. So, you know, look at Dakar. He actually ends up just giving it that little nudge, but. You know, that's a tough call on the spot. You know, if we do have the old Toronto war room, as we were saying before, you know, it may have been a goal that would have been allowed. Just one little thing from Sheffield. Steelers normally play, of course, in the arena. You played at Sheffield a lot. 2 goals from that game. Lagui's goal, Kristanovic's goal, if we can take a look at them. Yeah. Those backboards, they're like rubber, aren't they? They are. They're very, very solid boards. So anytime you get a good hard dump in off the boards, you look where it comes right back out and how quick it is. And you get somebody driving the net like that, it puts a lot of pressure on the D and on the goalies to come up with a play. And you see there that Zemlak doesn't actually get a hold of it in time. Look, it's off the boards. He's reacting to it. Oh, there it is. Where is it? Doesn't get a piece of it because it's that fast in front of the net. Almost makes the goalie look foolish, doesn't it? It does, really but people don't realize how quick that puck actually can come off these boards. And the same thing happens here. Shot wide of the net, look at DeCaro, and bang. You can't react to it, and it's back in front of your net before you know what's happening. He reacts that little bit too slow, and it is. And again, it's in the back of your net. He's there, but he's there stretching, so it leaves a big 5-hole wide open. There you go. More goals to come when we come back after this break, and more reaction, of course, from Ron Shudra as well. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Rapid Solicitors Elite Ice Hockey League highlight show here on Sky Sports. 2 more games to get through, and it's back up to the Gardner Conference as well. The Belfast Giants travelled to the Hull Stingrays. Edinburgh went to Dundee.
There was a delayed start in the Hull Arena due to a broken piece of plexi, but then the fans were treated to a terrific game. Dooley's dump towards net was eventually turned in by Tanaka, and the other assist going to Sylvain Cloutier, a 4th of the year for Tanaka. It's 1-0 to Hull, 12 minutes and 28 seconds gone. After the second interval, Belfast Giants grew in strength, and a wraparound stepping out from behind was Fournier, a 3rd of the year for him. Colbert and Rycroft with the assists were level at 1-1. Giants on the power play still in period 2. Shot there from Champagne doesn't hit the target, but then Sandrock and Stewart combine. It's patient play, and Colbert there rifling in his 3rd of the year. 28-02, got a bit feisty, and it was a sign of things to come. But not before Darryl Lloyd races down left side, and what a way to get your first goal of the season. Over the shoulder of Ben Bounds. It's 3-1, and Belfast very much in favour. Then a late hit on the boards, calls to fight. We'll see it begin to build here. Players from both sides get involved. Now, Adam Keefe and Ryan Hammond are already gone. This is bout 2, and this is 2 tough men. Here we go. Both of them trading blows, rights and lefts. Sure, there's a little tap there from Keefe. That shows a lot of respect. So that was bout 2. Anyway, back to the action. 3rd period now. The Giants on a power play, and look, there's another bout of fisticuffs going on. It's Stewart against Smith, and that one 5 minutes each for both sides. So that was the 3rd fight in the game, and still it meant the Belfast Giants were on the power play. Could they wrap up victory and make it short? Well, Fournier and Sandrock combining, and Clark there with his 3rd of the year. Final score, Hull Stingrays 1, Belfast 4. Dundee have won the previous 2 meetings between these 2 sides, 3-2 and 5-3. In fact, of the last 18 meetings, 13 have gone Dundee's way. So a stat to make better for Edinburgh, and they went ahead. Jade Portwood out of the corner there, and they're ahead at 6:22. But Dundee came back at them. Great work from Ryan and McLean, and the final touch in front of the net is by Wirral, his 6th of the season, and he ended the weekend 3rd in the Elite League's point-scoring charts. So Edinburgh came back once more. We hadn't even played 10 minutes in the game, but good work from Single and McIntyre this time for the Caps, and all alone in front of the net was Yarrolin. And at 9:32 in the first period, it was 2-1 to the visitors, and things were looking up for Edinburgh. But back came the Stars. Lovely shot over the shoulder by Wirral, Bagran and Ryan getting the assist. Ryan actually the league's second leading point scorer. Then there was an incident there, just as the puck was between the two players, a 5-in-game misconduct for Bowen for slashing. Referee Neil Wilson sending him for an early shower. 9:34 gone in the second period. Hartman has to go for treatment, and Bowen has an early shower. So still a 2-2 game in the second period, and there was a chance on net with the game coming to a close. I think Dundee thought it may have gone over the line, but it didn't. It was a save by Kevin Forsell, the Edinburgh-born netminder, of course deputising on the Sunday with the Caps having netminding problems. We went to the shootout. Dobran first. He scores. So it's 1-0, and the first penalty going Edinburgh's way. Matt Baxter first up for Dundee. He can't score, so a major moment coming up now for the Edinburgh Capitals. Martin Single had a chance for breathing space. No, glove save there from Riopel. So we're going to go back the other end. Ryanen, he manages to score. 1-1 then, 2 penalties each. Peter Haleko now for Edinburgh, the third penalty shooter. No pad save from Riopel. So it goes back down the other end, and Wirral, who got 2 goals in the game, has a chance to wrap it up. And yes, he does. And the Dundee Stars twice come from behind to win against their Scottish rivals. Final score, Dundee 3, Edinburgh 2.
I told you a few weeks ago, didn't I, the Dundee Stars? They could just be the surprise team in that Gardner Conference, and I think they're going to be as well. Another good win for them. They obviously a tight one against Edinburgh. And of course, another good win for the Belfast Giants. They find a way, don't they? Every time they go in there and just do the job.
They do. We said it before earlier in the show. They play one way, and they play that way for 60 minutes. And if they need to go a little bit extra, they go that little bit extra. And they always find that way. They always find somebody to pop up at the right time to finish the game off for them. And you see that with the Scottish teams too. The
whole reasoning behind the conference system was more games against evenly matched teams, and you're seeing Dundee reaping the benefit of that, winning a lot more games this year.
I think you do, yeah. They work hard for their style of play, and they go out and they continue to battle all the way through. And some of the goals that they got there were, again, good, hard-working goals, driving the net, getting rebounds, making a couple of good plays, and it's in the back of the net.
Let's take a look through all the results then from the weekend. We'll start off on Saturday, where the Belfast Giants beat the Nottingham Panthers 3-2 after penalty shots. Cardiff 2-1 over the Sheffield Steelers. In the Gardner Conference, Edinburgh 1, Braehead Clan 4, and the Hull Stingrays 3, the Dundee Stars 1. Jumping forward to Sunday, Hull Stingrays going down 4-1 at home to Belfast. Sheffield beating the Braehead Clan 7-3. In the Erdard Conference, Coventry going down at home after overtime, 4-3 to Gerard Adams' Cardiff Devils. In the Gardner Conference, the Dundee Stars, again, just a 1-goal game. How many 1-goal games? 3-2 over the Edinburgh Capitals. So let's take a look at the 3 league tables so far. Just reaction to that, Ron. Obviously, Belfast, Sheffield, Nottingham, at the top of the Elite League table, and that will see itself through in the conference tables as well.
It is. I mean, it's the usual suspects, isn't it? You get 4, 5, 6 teams that will always battle all the way down to the wire. It's happened the last few years. It's come down to the last 2, 3, 4 games of the year where the top teams are playing each other, and that's the way you want the league to finish. You want to be within a few points of each other, so that a month left in the season, you don't know the result. 2 weeks left in the season, you still don't know the result, and then, oh geez, we've got to play this guy, and this guy. And we've got this team, and this team. So we know it's going to be a battle all the way through, and they do.
Your reaction to the conference is because it does give the likes of Dundee and Edinburgh and Fife and some hope and something to play for a championship in their own. And I think we'll start to see that develop after Christmas as well.
Well, I think so. I think you've got the rivalries already starting to build up between the Scottish teams now that there's more of them. You've got the southern rivalries, like we said during the show as well. And it's only a good thing to have that, because the battles get better, the games get better, the scores get closer. And what do you want? You want scores that are close. You don't want to see 10-1 blowouts.
More games then for you to see this coming weekend. Let's take a look at the schedule. On Saturday, we see the Belfast Giants taking on the Cardiff Devils, 7 o'clock at the Odyssey. Up in Kirkcaldy, get your stovies early because the Sheffield Steelers are in town at 7:15. Braehead against the Edinburgh Capitals, and at the NIC in Nottingham, Challenge Cup action between the Panthers and the Hull Stingrays. Sunday sees the Sheffield Steelers take on the Belfast Giants at the Motorpoint Arena, 5 p.m. Up in Scotland, the Dundee Stars host the Hull Stingrays at 6:30, and the Caps take on the Five Flyers. That's always a barnstormer. Edinburgh versus Fife at 6 o'clock. Coventry then take on the Nottingham Panthers at the Sky Dome. The first time Corey Nelson's taken the Panthers into the Sky Dome this season. He always gets a nice hot reception there. You'll be able to see all the goals, all the hits, all the fights, all the action this time next week on our Sky Sports show. It's on at 10 p.m. on Sky Sports 4, or you can see us again at 12:30 in the afternoon on the following Saturday. Just Series Link us, I do. Works really well. You got Series Link?
Of course.
Just talk us through this opening 6 weeks of the Elite League season. It looks tighter, looks more competitive, looks more exciting.
It is, and that's what they want to. The league's trying to do. They're trying to build on the competition by introducing your two conferences. You're getting teams that are closer together, not spread out all over the place. And you want the competition to be big and strong and fast and furious, and that's what they're getting.
That's what they are getting indeed. Folks, go and take in an Elite League game. You've got 4 EIHLers to see as well this weekend. That's going to make a difference as well to your viewing pleasure. Games up and down the conferences, up and down the country, and we'll have all the action this time next week. Thanks for watching again. Thanks to Ron Shudra. We'll see you next week. Good night.